Hello, lovelies. Hello, hello, hello. I'm hopping on here so we can talk about my dream that I had that was really crazy. But let's talk about this morning. Waking up this morning and seeing nothing but the pink plasmic light coming through the window. Oh my goodness. It kind of like it really did remind me of a few years back, 2016, 2017, 2018. I'm not sure when I lived in Carmichael and how the pink clouds and stuff were descending upon us right after we got back from Mount Shasta. It was really weird. And I just remember, and I'll never forget this because it was really interesting. I went with Carrie and Terry, and Carrie and Terry, they went their directions, went home. When they went home, they were experiencing thunderstorms and lightning and stuff. No pink clouds. I was like experiencing the pink clouds coming down and all the pinkness coming down and touching everything and and watching it literally come down from the sky, how it was coming down and it was just descending and then touching everything, the stairs and going down it was just touching everything. I just remember standing in the my living room saying, I just got back from Shasta and look at this. This is so weird. Look at all this pink potomic plasmic light coming down. It's coming down and it's touching everything. And as it was coming down and touching everything, I just remember standing there and it was just coming underneath the door. It was almost like being in a sci-fi movie, just watching it. And I was just like, wow, is this like gonna kill me or something? And Spirit said, no, it's a living light, it's a living plasmic light that's coming imprinting itself on everything. So now when I look and I see what's happening now, I'm like, same thing's happening again, but in a different way, in a different amount, how it shows up in different areas. So yeah, the whole glass window and everything was pink this morning, bright pink. And I was just like, oh, the love is here. Let's get it going. So let's talk about the dream. So the dreams have been really intense lately. And this one was really interesting. So pay attention to these weird looking children that'll come up in your dreams. They can either be a guide or they can be a distraction. This one that showed up in my dream was a distraction. And it was making this energy of kind of coming in and sitting, and it was on a tablet. It was looking at its tablet, really pale skin, just kind of it looked soulless. Didn't have a care in the world. It was more into its electronic thing than being there to take care. I said, you're supposed to be here to watch the young one. And says, oh, I'm not worried about the young one. The young one knows what to do. I said, well, where is she? Did you check on her? And said, oh no, I'm not checking on her. I'm not here for her. That's exactly what it said. I'm not here for her. So being that it was my dream, I'm like, oh, this is how we're gonna play this, huh? All right. Let's see how good you are. I said, oh, who are you here for? And she just kind of kept on going on her tablet, wouldn't say anything. I said, oh, well, if you're here for me, you better get ready because I'm not gonna make it easy for you. And she just kept on going on her tablet. She goes, that's so. And I said, yeah, that's so. I said, I would think twice messing with me. So she just sat there. And again, I said, you haven't even checked on the little one. Where is she? She goes, I told you I'm not worried about her. I'm here for something else. I said, yeah, we discussed it already. And you're still sitting your ass on the couch there with your tablet plugged into AI. Doesn't look like you're going very far, soulless being. She just looks at me, and then all of a sudden, like these other people showed up, like she was calling in backup, kind of cracked me up. And this one lady who was wearing nothing but this like plastic dress, like a latex dress, kind of something like Lady Gaga would wear. It looked like that, one of them opaque dress things, and she had on these really tall stiletto heels, and she was like, "How do you want to handle this situation?" And the girl sitting on the couch looks at her and looks at me, and then the other people were kind of like in the background, but they weren't really doing anything. And I said, "She don't have to handle nothing because I'm about to handle all of you." So it got a little like right when I was getting ready to get kicking to the kick your butt situation, all of a sudden it changes. And I'm like, pulled straight up. I'm above Earth. I'm looking down at Earth. And I'm like, what am I doing here? He said, watch. And this big beam of light came down through the North Pole, and then it hit the South Pole and went straight through the Earth. And it almost made it look like it was taking the Earth when it hit, and it went like this, like it was splitting the Earth. Like, oh my God, what is happening? I said, just watch. And then the Earth literally stopped. There was no gravity, and the water just came off the Earth. And it was like the water was becoming like this kind of like a halo effect around the Earth, where all the water just kind of pulled off of the Earth. Then once the light finished going straight down to the other end and finished, then all of a sudden, after the light disappeared, the Earth contracted back together, and then the water and everything that was on it just came back onto the Earth. But there was earthquakes, there was tsunamis, there was all kind of havoc things, shaking things up. And I said, "Oh my God, what is the people? Did you why did you let this happen to the people?" I was all upset, What did the people, the children, the people, I was screaming. And they said, "Relax. It's all the divine. It is all guided. We're watching everything." And I said, "Oh, I don't understand. I don't understand. Why did you show me this? Why did you?" Because this is what's coming, and it will be felt. And I was like, so I woke up amongst the pink light. And I said to myself, I said, here we go again. what's what's this light that's coming in? What's happening now? Why is this happening? So I thought it was really interesting that the dream was really pointing that out and seeing that, and the amount of messages since I've been back from Shasta this past weekend has been crazy. I went back and looked at some of my pictures, and I was like, "What?" I was seeing this big orb, and then I saw like where we were sitting, this big, nice, pretty portal of light that was coming straight down, and I was like, oh, "Okay, there's a portal right there." So I just want everybody to pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to everything. I am not. Oh, in the dream, this is what was interesting. I remember in the dream she did this one thing. This what started it. Why she said I'm not here for her. So she later does something on her tablet where she turns on every radio in the place in the home. Every radio and every TV was on the same station, and everybody was saying the same thing. Okay, but she was watching the news, and they go, "Why are you watching that stuff, that news? They don't ever tell truth." And she goes, "I have to." I said, "What do you mean you have to?" I said, "News stands for Negative Environmental Word Service." And she looks at me and she goes, "I think you're just crazy." I said, "Really? You think I'm crazy? I'm not the one sitting there looking at that." And she looks at me, and I said, "Have you checked on her?" She goes, "I told you I'm not here for her." I said, "Oh, okay." So that's what's really, I almost forgot about that part. That's what started in on the dream, how she had her device and she's clicking, turning on every radio and every TV. So I literally am looking at that. She's connecting into every frequency that she can, rather it's negative or positive, but she wasn't connecting into anything positive. It was negative. And she's just turning on everything. And I was like, what are you doing? So that's the significant part of that dream before I went up and then came down and saw the North Pole and the South Pole splitting. So I don't know. I tell you one thing, every day is feeling very I feel very every day more and more detached from third dimension, three and four. I'm just it's like I went into the store this morning and I said, yeah, let's go grab this and this. And I was waiting up at the counter. I was going to grab some bacon to put in with the meal that I was making, seasoning. And nobody was coming to the counter. And I said, literally said, you know what? Come on, let's go over here. I don't have time for third dimensional beings. Exactly what I said. I don't have time for third dimensional beings. And I simply mean that. You know, when you're operating in the fifth and sixth dimensional energy, you don't have time for three or four. Three or four is all about they'll do it when they want to. They're hanging out in their own crazy energy and they're pissed off at their work. They're all in that energy, that not wanting to be here, not wanting to do this, da 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 da, that energy. And you'll see it clearer as you are moving through and you'll start feeling yourself kind of like detaching from it. So I just totally detached from it, and I said, "Come on, let's go over here and do this. Get our stuff, bump, 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 bump." Got what we needed, got in line, and got out of there. Was done. But just pay attention to your dreams. It's really interesting. You know, when we went up to the mountain and Shasta did a lot of spiral light gritting. And as I was doing the gritting and where we were standing and how I was standing there and receiving all the codes that were coming in and gritting, I am still seeing the codes. And then I wrote them down and I said, okay, I'm going to write these down and then later on put it into some artwork. But as far as everything else that's flying through on YouTube, I'm just not buying into it. I'm listening to divine, I'm listening to that, and I'm listening to the guidance of that, and I'm not buying into all the other complex storylines. And one of the things I do have on my storyline of evidence to see, if I don't see a particular person say something this month, it's all been a lie. It's all been shenanigans. It's all been nothing but a energy to keep us holding on to that space. When I came down from the mountain on that trip, and even coming down and the energy of what we ran into and where we were taken energetically through a portal and being inside that portal, that whole area was a portal. And seeing what I saw, how those planes were disappearing into that blue hue. Okay. I was just like, there's a lot more stuff going on that meets the eye, and there's a lot more trans. There's a lot more happening than anything's being said, and everybody has their hand in the cookie jar, and that's how I look at it. And there is nobody here other than the divine guidance that will intervene for something severe. But otherwise, we are responsible for how we want to cultivate this earth and how we want to create it. And however you're sitting right now in this moment is what you're cultivating, is what you're sitting in. So I was asked a question, how would I feel if I just lived a life of magic every single day? I said, I would love it. Be connected to all the elements all the time and doing things on a magical, divine way and things happening divinely. And that's the type of world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where Color is not an issue. Race isn't an issue. Your beliefs of spirit is an issue. Religion doesn't exist. I would like to live in a world where that doesn't exist. I think that's a problem. Um, I think if everybody would just accept the fact that they come from a divine source being living a human moment, we'd all get along. Um, and no killing, no killing, no killing. There wouldn't be a reason to be killing if everybody got along. If everybody was in a space of love. Do I ever think that's possible here on this planet? No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. Because this planet is all about balancing. It's all about the balance. It's all about keeping balance. Yeah, you're gonna have some good, you're gonna have some bad. But when one is out of control, it has to be it has to be put back into balance. So it would be nice to be able to have a place to live, like in on other star systems where I've come from, where we didn't have to worry about money. Money was not an issue. Money wasn't a part of that. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the love. Thank you, Dad. Um, money wasn't an issue. Money wasn't. Um, it just wasn't an issue. It was nothing. We didn't have to worry about that. Everything. Everybody moved in unison. Everybody moved in love. Everybody moved in that space. Thank you. So it would be nice to just live on a planet where you didn't have to worry about that. I'm honestly so upset and frustrated about it today. Yes, money is not an issue. I am experiencing major money issues here. You know what? I hate to say this, and that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm gonna touch on this and you're gonna understand this. Okay. So I want you to think about this. Think about it. Money is an issue. Money is so hard. Money is a limitation. Money is a lot of people, some people have a lot of money, other people do not. Some people live a life where they don't have to worry about ever worrying about where they're going to ever live and lay their head down, if they're ever going to have food to eat that night or have gas to put in their cars to get to their jobs that don't pay them enough to survive, but you keep showing up for these jobs thinking that you're going to make enough money to take care of all the things that you need. And everybody's struggling. If it's not the place of where you work, they're struggling, then they pass the struggle on. But what if you just step out and you just say, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not allowing my body to get all upset about this money. Because think about it, our money is tainted. Our money is karmic. Our money is not real. Our money is false. Our money is an illusion. This money is a enslavement to a timeline of blood. Think about that. Yeah, think about how that money is. We're all trying to have that money. We're all trying to make money. We're all trying to live, but we got to make money to live. Do you really have to make money to live? Or is it a programming that makes us think that? This is where I am right now. This is why I'm I'm doing my work from a different place, because I was finding myself, I got to make these programs. I got to get people to buy my programs so that they will know that my work is available to help them and assist them. Da 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 da. And this is how much I'm gonna put a price on this for this. But you know what ended up happening? when I put two groups together and it came time to teaching and I put a price on it, I just let it go. And then some people who wanted to do it, they got committed to it and they stayed in the program. I mean, to walk Tarot for 78 days is a lot to ask. It really is. You know, showing up every day to go through a card, to activate that portal, to step into that energy and to learn from that card. How is it showing up in your life? Every single day a card is different. How is that showing up in your life? That's a lot of dedication. And then I said to everybody, we do this. This is this is one of those things that you will see making some change in your life. It's going to bring up your stuff. Money is one of those things that are coming up for all of us because the old way of how we see money, how we used to do money, how we used to is coming undone. It is money literally when you look at it, it's blood money. You pull out a dollar, you pull out a 20, you pull out 100, you pull out a 50, you pull out whatever. That money has circulated around the world. It has been with somebody who was alive or dead. It has been circulated somewhere to where energetically it comes back, it has all this energy on it. And another thing about money, when we're trying so hard to make it, just the fact that we're trying to make the money, we don't make the money. Think about it. You're trying to make the money, but you're really not going to make the money because you're not connected to what your purpose is and doing the purpose and then allow the money to flow. And that's exactly what I did. I went backwards. I said, okay, I'm going to put this program together. And then I waited till everybody got in it. And then I did this one thing. If you're not really interested in doing this program and you feel like you're not going to be dedicated, I need to know if you're really going to be in this program or not. And then people started peeling off. They started, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I da 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 da. And started bailing out. And I was like, look at that, look at that, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Too scared to get to know themselves on a deeper level. Too much putting everything in their minds of the time that it would take for them to do it. But then the ones that stayed, I put them in the group and I said, guess what? We're going to go through this journey together, but it's free. We're all going to walk this until the end of the year. I'm going to take it all the way up to January 12th of 2023, and then we're done. I didn't charge them anything. Then after it started going, this is what happened. People were liking the energy and what they were going through, and it was helping them see themselves in a different way and helping to activate things. Next thing I know, people were trying to get my mailing address. They're trying to mail me something. They're trying to give me something. They're trying to do something. And then finally, because of Gene Key 55, when we all had to read that and jump into that and got activated by that, that Gene Key 55 was an accelerator. Then it was like, okay, if you want to leave a donation or something, no problem. Leave a love currency. That's what I said, a love currency. You pick what you want to leave. A love currency. Love current. Love flowing. Love coming. So whatever is flowing towards me, I'm giving it back through my high heart self back to those. And it's reciprocating that beautiful figure eight, creating. So why not give in that way? I did. I'm still being of service. I'm still there. Now, here's another thing. If you are struggling with money. A lot of people don't know this. Hey, a lot of people don't know this. But a lot of times when you're having a lot of money issues, it's because there's something in the family bloodline that never got cleared up about money. And you are probably here to help heal that and to keep that storyline from continuing. It's the same energy as if someone, say, like you get married and then you get a divorce after a year of marriage. And then the story in the whole family is all the women, all the, my grandmothers and my aunts and my sisters and all blah, blah, blah. They only been married for a year and then they end up getting a divorce. Nobody stays married beyond a year. Okay. That is a energetic cursing energy, hexing energy that is in the generational bloodline. And the reason why it's anchored is because it's anchored into the cells of the people who harnessed it and kept it alive. And it's the same thing with money. If you always are struggling with money, having a problem, this is where you have to go through and clear those timelines. Because a lot of us are living from a timeline of the 1920s, which is happening. An old timeline energy keeps coming up. Recession, inflation, poor, no food, it's coming up through the waves. And people are feeling that. And the ones that have experienced before, they're already on alert. Oh, it's gonna happen again. History repeats itself. What if we stop using those words? History repeats itself. Do you realize how many times we spell ourselves? We spell ourselves every freaking day. I can't go spend money on anything like that. I gotta get gas. I can't do that. I can't spend. I can't make money doing that. I can't. You just spelled yourself. I'm very keen on words right now and spells because everything that happens during the holidays on this planet is a spell in our words. And in order for you to be up on that higher frequency and to go and to be there, you have to know what spell you are under or what spell is being cast to keep you from that. So when I was asked that question, wouldn't I like to live a divine magical life every day? And I said yes, to create my world, my fifth dimension, my sixth dimension on the way I want to live it. I don't want to hang out with three-dimensional people and fourth-dimensional people because what do? They are stuck in a cycle and they never will change. So we have to keep evolving and moving into that higher energy where you create from. So whatever your struggle is coming up in your face more now because the energy line hasn't been taken care of. You get a little spark here and there, but that's like saying, "Oh, I'm just getting by." Hate that. I can't stand that. Let me tell you something. Oh God, here it comes. Get ready. This is going to be one of those videos. Watch out. Let me tell you something. You were not born to come on this planet that has all these freaking rules and oppositions to just survive and to just get by. Listen to that. Oh, I'm surviving. I'm just getting by. What you getting by on? Stress? What are you getting by on? What are you getting by on? When you see this world, like I said, from that dream, how that light came straight down through the center of the earth, through the North Pole and South Pole, and then it stopped, and the gravity released from the planet, and all the water was coming off of it, and it was created this halo effect of water in the atmosphere around the earth. And then all of a sudden, after the light was done, and then the planet comes back together, and then it's solidified, and then the water emerges back onto the planet, resetting anew. Another point about that dream, that light represents divine light spirit coming through Mother Earth, the divine soul, a renewal coming through her. Do you or do you not think within yourself you need to be renewed? Because some of us are sitting in the same cycle and you have to wake up out of the cycle. This is where we are right now. If you're going to break it and move past it, this is the month you can do it in. But you have to be willing to look at it and to step out of it. And that's what it really truthfully means. So any money problems you're having, where in the timelines within the self, within your ancestral bloodline, which is all a part of you, was there money issues and the belief around it? The belief. Because really, this money that we have been imprisoned with, it really doesn't exist. It really doesn't have as much power that everybody is giving it. It really doesn't. If you really step back and look at it in that form, it really doesn't. It has power because somebody intentionally set an intention with it. So, what is that relationship with it? Yes, breaking through it. Absolutely. Absolutely breaking through it. So think about that. We're in revealing times right now. We have to see ourselves in a different light. I know my family played into a lot of the money issues, and my dad always kept us below our means. Yeah, always scared, even though we had money growing up. He still has a lot of money, though I ready to break. Here's the thing. Are you still living in that timeline? Because your soul just said right there. This is how spiral light works. Your soul just said, here's the root cause. Your soul just said your dad kept you below our means. Are you still that same person living with your dad and your mom, living below your means? Here it is. Get ready. It's coming. Are you living from his belief still? Because you're living his belief. You're not living yours. There it is right there. There's your root. Go into that root of that belief and say, I don't consent to this anymore. I'm not consenting to it anymore. On every part of my being, I'm not consenting to it anymore. When you say you're not consenting to that, that's when you're going to see the change, because there's a part of you that is still living as that child in that home under that belief of that father saying those limitations. You're believing that. And because you're still living in that energy of that belief that's tagged on you cellularly, until you say, I'm releasing it and I'm not consenting to this energy anymore, I'm clearing it from all my dimensional selves. I'm clearing it. And when you say that and you're clearing it and you're not consenting to it, boom, that timeline's gone. Of course, everything's feeling magnified. You want to know why? Because we're getting ready to step through that big ass eclipse that's coming. Everybody's stuff is coming up right now. Everybody's stuff is coming up right now. So if you are someone that's sitting in a bunch of goo, and I always say this because I know some people that are sitting in a bunch of goo. They live for the fact that they can be holding grudges, being upset, being angry. It's somebody else's fault that they're unhappy. Oh, they didn't get what they wanted out of that person. You know, if you're hanging on to that, I feel sorry for you because the energy that's coming in is going to amplify what you're hanging on to. You might as well just take out some stock in Rolaids. You might well just do that. But yes, it's go back to that timeline of what your energy timeline is. That's the root cause. Here's another thing. The root cause for a lot of people and what's happening to them, and this is really going to get amplified. And I'm not saying this to hurt anybody's feelings, so don't get upset. Don't get don't get charged, don't get triggered. Okay? But I have to say this because this next part of the eclipse is going to be playing a bigger role of amplification to get you to look at something to get you to let go of something. So let's just pick something that I see that's going to be a problem, and I've been following it because it's a problem in I want to say in Iceland and it's a problem in some of the other European countries. Um, the the genet the I want to say the blessed plant has been genetically modified. Okay, the blessed plant, and because the blessed plant has been genetically modified, and a lot of people in the other European states that are partaking of it, having problems, they are like hooked on it like nothing because they have blended something with this plant to make people more hooked onto it. They can't get off of it. And it's a huge problem over there. So I noticed something that was coming up on my phone, this dispensary thing called Mode or Mood. And this lady comes on, and there's been other people saying, yeah, it comes up and it's delivered to my door, and I don't have to worry, and the stuff is so good. And I said, oh, that's the one that has all the problems that's coming. Okay, so here's the key. And the reason why I bring this up is because be so light. This is what be so light is about. Stand in your light. Be your light. Be right in your light. Be so light. So here it is. And this goes for anything. If you were young and you started smoking at the age of 10 or 11, when did you start smoking? And why did you start smoking? Was it to look good? Was it to feel popular because you wanted to fit in? Was it that because we wanted to fit in? So you start smoking and you start getting into it because you want to be a part of the crowd, right? So when you were becoming a part of the crowd, and now 20, 30 years now later, 15, 20, however long you've still been doing it, are you still with the same crowd of people? The same crowd that you started off with? Has it changed? Are you still in the same crowd? That's the question. That's the healer. To get you to go to the root. When did you first start? Because anyone that comes in and has a consultation with me, the first thing I'm doing after I find out what your birthday is and I find out what your sign is, and I find out what your galactic sign is, I'm going to ask you, when did you first start? When did you first start? Hi, darling. I'm going to ask you, when did you first start? What was the situation that was occurring at the time when you started? Were you trying to fit in? Were you lonely? Was there problems at home? Were you just trying to look cool? Trying to look like the popular girls or boys? What was the root cause? Because that's where you have to go back to that root and say, you know what? I'm not with those same people. I'm not doing that same energy anymore. So therefore, I am not that same person, which is true all across the line. None of you that are in this right now, watching this live, you are not that same person. You're not the same person when you first started that. So thank you. Why do you still give it permission to still have a hold on you? Why do you still consent to it? How is it paying off for you right now in this moment? How is it helping you? Because here's something else. If you're using it for a medical thing, I get it. But how do you know if you're not allowing yourself to do the healing if you still got the shield up? If you're still using the artificial shielding to create that effect? Does that make sense? Yes, you want to clear it. So you have to go back to that root cause. You have to go back to that. And that's for everything. Same thing if someone says, um, oh, every time I look up around this time of the year, I'm always sick with something. Oh, I got to use this example. Every time around this time of the year, I'm always sick with the same infection. Don't know why I get it. Okay, you're sick again. Why are you sick again? When did it first start? Was it an emotional thing? Was it in a relationship? Did you witness something that scared the living hell out of you and your body hasn't been right since? Did you go through a divorce? Were you abused? What triggered that energy? Because once you recognize it, and this is where the medicine comes in, this is where the alchemy comes in, this is where the healing comes in, this is where the spontaneous healing comes in. The divine light within you says, here it is. Okay, I recognize it. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I no longer consent to this. I am releasing this. I am now divinely releasing from it. The same energy that you took to say yes to it is the same amount of energy, if not more or less, that you need to say no to it. You started it, you end it. And if it's something in the ancestral bloodline, that's a repeat energy, you have to go clear it. One of the things I've been looking at is homeless. You never have a home to call your own because it's always under somebody else's roof. Or you have a home, but it's never your home. It's always something that interferes with the home. So now you got to go back and look at the timeline of when this first started. What happened that created this energy where it's staying like that and you haven't got off of that road? Does that make sense? Because as soon as you start recognizing it, as soon as you start saying, I'm not doing that anymore, I'm not agreeing to that anymore, I'm clearing this from this timeline. I'm stepping out of this. Then boom, it makes a shift. It stops. Everything will stop as soon as you stop saying okay to it. And yes, sometimes certain things that we have to say no to is going to hurt because it can be tied into a person, place, thing, or situation. And sometimes you have to say, I'm done. You got to be like Rocky and just fucking throw that towel in and say, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's a waste of my energy and my time. And I have more important things to do at my timeline than to be activating with your timeline that's not going anywhere. This is where we are. It's all about frequency now. It's all about energetic timeline energy. What are you attracting? What are you energetically attracting? What are you saying yes to? Go back to that 13 second. 13 seconds to change something. Stop saying yes to something that is no longer aligned with you, no longer okay with you. But you have to be willing enough to recognize it and to say it, you're done with it. And when you step into owning it and saying you're done with it and mean it, then it changes. But if you're going to be wishy washy, that's what you're going to keep getting is wishy washiness. That's it in a nutshell. I know. And I only come on and teach things that I know that I personally walked through myself and been a part of. Now, I'm not one that's ever done any drugs or been partaking in plants and doing no. When I grew up, I was a bookworm. My addictions was cupcakes, chocolate, cars, guys. That's it. In that order. Now, since I'm a little older, my addictions are cards, books, crystals, and sleep. That's my addiction now. Because it takes a lot to be on this planet. I got to get some sleep. I got to get rejuvenated. So take a look at where it all starts and go back to those timelines. You can do this now. We can do these healings now on ourselves. We don't have to be running off trying to find somebody to do the medicine on me. No, take the accountability. You said yes to it back in the day. Take the time to say no to it now. You started it, you end it. Simple as that. That means when you end it, you validate it. You validate yourself. Now you have your self love. Now you got your power back. Now you're standing in it. You can't stand in it if you don't own it. And nobody else is going to make it right for you. You the one that got to make it right. That's why all of us, if you really look around the big picture of everything that's happening right now on this planet, yes, there was stuff that happened that we didn't know about that was playing on. And trust me, I went up and had a huge meeting with the powers that be up in the star system. And I said, you guys let this stuff go on, and you knew what was going on, and you just kept letting it go on. And then some of you were still making deals with these elites and carrying it out. So don't come down here telling us we got to fight your fight. No, no, no. You need to correct this stuff because you did it to us. Oh, yeah. I was some fire. I was fire up there. Next thing I know, I was getting invited to Laura and going to parties. Coming back tired, got to sleep for a week. But yeah, I went up there and I was very voiceful for humanity, saying, no, you guys did this to us, you fix it. This is not our war. This is not our fight. I don't care how many timelines you're trying to say we set this up. I don't give a damn about that. What I'm concerned with is what's happening right now, right here, with the children and everybody else. Period. You fix it. We'll take care and stand in our sovereignty and our divineness and the creations of who we are and own that because that is our divine truth. And that is something that is not for sale. Period. So I invite each and every one of you, go back and look. When did you first start it? What was the root energy, the cause? Even if you had an injury or something that happened in your body, when did it first start? What emotion was around it? What was happening? What were you so upset about and you never gave yourself permission to say, I'm done with this? Because that timeline is still interacting with you on a subconscious level and a super subconscious level. So you have to go back and release it. You have to give yourself permission to go heal that. Stop waiting for the miracle. You are the fucking miracle. Go heal it. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for your Superman. Stop waiting for your Wonder Woman. You're it. Hello. You're it. So go to that timeline and find it and release it. And stop consenting to the energy. You no longer consent to it. That's the name of the game now. For everything, contracts, time you were born, time you went and got baptized. That's all that consented energy. Did you know when you were born and they give you your birth certificate that literally that's you're dead? And then if you go get baptized, then you're born again, but you're born into the matrix system? Look at that storyline. That sucks on every level, doesn't it? Yeah. Free yourself. You are the key to that. You are the divine key to that. Nobody else can fix it for you. You said yes then. You don't like it now. You get to say no now. Period. So I cut this. Oh, you're welcome. Releasing is of releasing it. Yes. So release it. Does everybody understand this? Bless you. Everybody got it. Obviously, you're still here. I see the still watching. Thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate that. Okay, you have homework to do. Those of you that are in the priestess divine group, do your homework. Get it off your plate before we get to this full moon with this eclipse. You think you're feeling it now. If you don't get it off your plate now before this eclipse comes, you're going to really be feeling it. So get it off your plate. Take your time with yourself and be with yourself and get it off your plate. Stop staying distracted so you won't look at the energy of what's going on. Stop being distracted. All right. All right. I hope you received this message in a good way. It's been my pleasure to come on here and to be a vessel for divine to share this energy with you to help you understand that you are divine, that you are loved, that you are sacred, and to know that you are not alone and that you are a part of the bigger picture and you're part of the puzzle. And for you to be on this planet at this time, you're part of the mission. They're part of the purpose. So, with that being said, be so like and subscribe. And that's a wrap. And that's a 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye. Much love.